This topic addresses aspects of culture which influence workers in foreign countries and the adjustments which need to be made. At the end of this topic, you should be able to explain the cultural issues for managing operations involving different nationals. When establishing operations overseas, the organization's headquarters has three choices, namely sending expatriates, using host country nationals, or deploying third country nationals. Most corporations use some combination of all the three types, with each type having its own advantages or disadvantages. Expatriates refer to individuals from the home country who are sent to work at a foreign subsidiary. Procter & Gamble, for example, use expatriates to get their products to markets abroad quickly. Toyota uses expatriates to transfer their corporate culture and practices abroad. Sometimes, firms also send their expatriates on short-term assignments or get them to communicate with their international divisions via teleconferencing. Host country nationals are natives of host country where an overseas subsidiary is located. Sending employees abroad can cost 3 times as much as employing host country nationals. Texas Instruments, for example, makes less use of expatriates. Local employees tend to be more available and familiar with the culture and language. They are cheaper to employ as they do not have to be relocated. Some local governments even provide incentives to hire local workers. Third country nationals are natives of a country other than the home country or the host country of an overseas subsidiary. Cultural differences between countries complicate international activities and dictate to some extent how a company should conduct business across borders. The problem usually stems from one's own ignorance of their own cultural conditioning and how it affects their actions on a subconscious level. Acting out of ethnocentrism is to judge others by one's own group or cultural standard, which is seen as superior. The conditioning of being used to one's own cultural environment can also lead to culture shock, disorientation, and stress from being in a foreign environment. To navigate this transition, one has to be sensitive to their surroundings, such as social norms and customs, and be able to readily adjust their behavior accordingly. Among the cross-cultural research done, Geir Hosted has identified 4 dimensions of national culture to describe cultural differences. Power distance refers to the extent to which society accepts the unequal distribution of power in organizations. Individualism or collectivism is the extent to which people act on their own or as a group. Uncertainty avoidance refers to the extent to which people feel threatened by uncertain or ambiguous situations. Masculinity, femininity is the extent to which a society values quantity over quality of life. Understanding the cultural issues that exist in different countries is imperative in order to have a successful entry or to execute global strategies effectively in the global business arena. Here are some cultural differences in the occupational context between the United States and other nations. This would not only cause problems for Americans working abroad, but also foreign workers being brought in to work in US parent companies. At meetings, Americans tend to have specific views on purpose and time allocated, while workers from other nations may have different views about the nature and the length of meetings. For international workers in America, managers should get them accustomed to the American approach. Workers from other countries can work long hours, but in countries with strong labor organizations, these workers often get more vacation weeks than Americans. Europeans would bark at working weekends as they are not used to it. Such matters relating to cultural differences for work should be addressed at the beginning of the work assignment.